All right, so how we met, part 3. So last video we ended basically saying that I told him if it didn't work out, I still wanted to be friends. He was like, no, I ain't having that.
Yeah.
But I made him promise me that we would still be friends, which I later found out he just said, but he didn't really mean. But anyway.
So I remember as I was going to ask her, I was on the phone with her talking at work, like on the work phones and stuff. And so she was like, hold on, homeboy, you ain't gonna ask me out on no date over the phone. Like,
I remember that.
Like, we work at the same job. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, so you gonna make me come over there and ask you?
Heck yeah.
Like, yeah. So for me, if you knew me, I was really shy when it comes to asking anybody out to do anything for us going out on a date and stuff. So I was like, all right. So I got up, went over there, asked her out for the date, and lo and behold, she had already had her phone number and her cell phone number on the paper ready for me, just already ready. So she already knew she was gonna say yes. I didn't know what she was gonna say. I'm sitting up there like, man, she's just making me come over here to make me look like a fool, tell me no. But that wasn't the case. So of course I was like super stoked, super excited that she did that. That to me at that moment, that said a lot that she had, because most women growing up, they would either give you they'll give you one number, but you gotta get deserving of two numbers.
That's when we had two numbers, when you had a house phone.
Yeah, and a cell phone. So so she gave me both numbers. I was like, oh, I got the actual house digits instead of cell phone number. So from there we
planned our first date.
It was crazy because I had cornrows in my hair, and my wife didn't. She didn't.
That wasn't my thing.
That wasn't her thing.
Like, I didn't like that on guys.
Thing. So what she didn't know was, on my day to come pick her up, now mind you, it was raining outside. I'm a gentleman. I arrived at her house.
And it was cold. It was January. And we were in VA.
So I arrived at her house, knocked on the door, or rung the doorbell. She opened the door, and there I was with my hair cut off.
No, you didn't show me then.
Oh, I didn't show you then?
He had a hat on.
I had a hat on.
He had a hat on. So he came in. Yeah. He had flowers for me. I went to the sink to go.
Roses,
had a teddy bear and flowers.
Roses,
I went to go get a vase, and I was, rinsing out the vase.
Umbrella.
And he was like, Michael. And I was like, what? Because I was rinsing out the vase, and you were over there. You're like, Michael. And I was like, what? Yeah. And you had taken off your hat, and I saw that you had shaved off your cornrows, your braids off.
That's how much I would.
And I was like, oh my gosh, you shaved off your braids. And you were like, yep. Part 4.